and welcome to a very vintage GuildGab.
In full color.
In full color. Never before seen. What's up, guys? It is episode 67 of GuildGab. This is a weekly show every Thursday, all about Guild Wars 2. And today we're going to be talking about the 2016 winter update that came out on Tuesday, giving our feedback on it, and just our impressions of what was in the update. First, let me introduce my wonderful co-host, MMOINKS, Alex of the RPG Shack, and the wonderful composer and creator of our new intro, Corvus Plays.
Hi.
Or, I'm sorry, Princess Corvus.
What's up? What's up?
Dude, you totally surprised me with that intro. It was like that trailer. Sorry.
I'm really sorry, guys.
It was
definitely
pure
the worst
genius.
thing I've ever made.
Yeah, please.
I think I watched it about 50 times and just laughed and laughed and laughed.
It reminds me of like Funhouse from like back in the day on kids' TV.
It's too good. It's too good. Princess Corvus. All right, so
Too good.
the patch on Tuesday. We've gone over many times what all of the things are, but we're gonna go through them again now that it's actually been released and let you guys know our feedback. So first and foremost, gliding in Central Tyria is glorious.
Yes, something I missed. Something I missed about it that I didn't realize until like probably the day after the patch was out is that there's jump pads all over Tyria to like get you a boost in, you know, like odd places.
Are they all over? I saw the jump pads in Blaze Ridge Steps where the Shatterer is. I was assuming to actually get you to the Shatterer fight, because there's like outside the gates of Ebonhawk, there's a jump pad. I was like, what?
Yeah, they're all over Tyria.
They're all over, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah,
very cool.
I think it's a pretty good idea. They can go, have gliding everywhere, and then you're like, but we can't get up anywhere. But
Sure you can.
You can now with jump pads.
Huh. Interesting that they couldn't add. They're like, we're not going to add updrafts and ley lines and all that stuff, but we're going to add jump pads everywhere.
I think adding updrafts and stuff would have been a little bit problematic. That way they can. What you could probably do, you could probably just run some kind of algorithm that takes note of peaks that you can get up to in maps and then automatically place jump pads at the top of them. And then just go, ha-ha, jump. So it's like doing some really cool stuff with a minimum amount of effort, but really
I think
cool.
it's a good way. It controls where we can glide, basically. Like updrafts and stuff, you could always fly in like the opposite direction of where they want to. But with kind of jump pads, it's a bit more controlled. They can at least point you in the right direction, kind of thing. So
right, yeah. Now some of them are a bit bugged. Some of them are a bit broken. You know, they don't all work 100%. I know, for example, and we'll talk about this, I guess, but the Shatterer, sometimes when you jump, you don't get the bomb when you're fighting him.
Really?
Kind of stinks a little bit. Yeah, it's
a bit annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's random. I don't know. It feels like it's random when it happens. I could glide 7 times in a row without a problem, and then all of a sudden, the next 2 times, I don't get the bomb when I glide. So it's a bit weird, but a little bugs. I'm sure they'll tweak it and fix it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Has anyone identified areas where you can't glide yet? Because I've not had as much time as I'd have liked in Guild Wars this week. I assume it's like jumping puzzles and that kind of thing.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they showed on Guild Chat how they implemented it, where they actually put like these zones where basically you can still glide in some parts of some jumping puzzles, but what they want to avoid is people climbing up to some point and then being able to glide right to the end of a jumping puzzle.
Absolutely.
That's what they've implemented, like these invisible walls, and it'll give you a warning that says, warning, this is a no-fly zone, and then if you don't stop yourself, then it'll drop you. But as soon as you're out of that zone, you can start gliding again, so that you don't just go splat on the ground.
Yeah, there's like an invisible threshold, like the jumping puzzle in Diessa Plateau, one of them, the one with the ruined walls, the ruined wall or whatever.
Blitzed Breach. That one.
whatever
Yeah.
it's called.
Yeah, that
When you
one.
cross a particular threshold, you jump over this broken stairs. You get this little icon that says gliding disabled, and then as long as you're within that wall area, you can't glide anywhere.
That's pretty cool. I quite like that because one of the concerns that I had about various areas being disabled was in Ion or Ion how it used to be. It was again another NC Soft MMO, but the big gimmick in it was, hey, we've got gliding and flying in our MMO, and the areas that you could fly and glide were just so utterly restrictive. It was essentially like the town areas, and anywhere that you thought you could go and see a mountain, just go, oh my god, I want to go and fly around that, and you couldn't do it. It just drop you out of the sky. But yeah, I know that I was a little bit reserved about it last week, but yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
There are some like invisible walls and such. For example, unless you use a little bit of magic and trickery, you can't glide off the airship, for example, or the grove. There's a couple of places that it stops you from gliding. People have found workarounds so that you can still do it, but it's really not intended. However, you have things like Radisum or Radisum where you can glide off, and you can actually glide around like to the dock area and stuff, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty nice.
Cool.
Because they're criminally underused areas, I think. The dock and the lab areas in
for sure.
Radisum. It's just like really nice little touches that no one ever goes to except to like get the world completion.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever go there is
Yeah.
getting my transmutation charge for my city completion. But my very first glide, of course, I had to have somebody mesmerport me to the very top of Divinity's Reach so I could get up there and glide around. Though I found that unless I jumped off the right direction, I was like, I'm dropping way faster than I expected. Like, I expected to just be circling the city. I was like, I'm just going to circle the entire city. But I got about 1/4 and then I was at the ground. I was like, oh. And it's interesting which buildings have collision and which don't. You find out very quickly which rooftops you can land on and which you can't.
Just thinking, old Lion's Arch would have been really fun with the gliding. Do you remember, you know, where you could get up to the old vistas and that kind of thing when it was still all the ships and that?
Yeah,
that would have been really fun. And there's a video kicking around somewhere of somebody jumping from the new lighthouse and flying across.
I heard that was a lot of people's very first jump. They said, first one's going to be from the lighthouse in Lion's Arch.
Yeah, I've got that to try tonight after we're done, so yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. No more jumping off cliffs thinking you can glide. Except I start trying to glide like in story instances. I go into story instances, into fractals that I'm trying to glide. Like, oh yeah, I can't glide in here. So there's still those places where, you know, people are probably going to still die because they don't remember that they're in an instance and they can't glide. But so that's going to still start happening again. But I think it's wonderful. I think that it was good that ArenaNet didn't make it like we had to unlock it again in Quarteria for a Quarteria Mastery. And at first I was all for it being a Quarteria Mastery because that almost made it seem like new content. Like, oh, this is a new mastery line that you have to unlock, so it's new content. But instead they just kind of gave it to us. And I would have been fine either way, but I'm glad that they did because, like I said, it's a wonderful advertisement for Heart of Thorns for free-to-play players and players that don't have Heart of Thorns. Within the first 5 minutes, I was in Divinity's Reach and I saw people in map chat going, oh, I wish I could do that. It looks like so much fun. Like, hey.
And for anybody watching this on YouTube or Twitch, you can buy Heart of Thorns from one of our 4 links. What?
That plug. What? I like it. I approve. You have earned yourself. You've earned yourself a checkbox. A checkbox. So when I fire you, I just
You just scroll out the checkbox.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Shatterer fight.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of feedback from people saying that it was much easier than they expected.
Non-endgame content in being easier than endgame content, shocker.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
So
no,
I just don't. I'm not too sure why people had that like expectation. You know, there was that interview with, was it MMORPG that they did,
right.
talking about you know, the difficulty was going to be, you know, for that kind of level, you know, and for the level of the zone and that kind of thing. They never once kind of gave that clear an impression that it was going to be like a mega boss or anything like that. So
It was
I don't
it was
know.
a revamp. It was a revamp.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't. It
If
wasn't.
anything, it was kind of there to fix what was wrong with the fight more than
For sure.
anything else, you know.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think when we first heard about it, I thought it was going to be on the difficulty scalar level of Tequatl. And there's a couple of changes you can make to the fight rather easily, I think. I say rather easily, but there would be coding and work involved, of course. But if they wanted to up the difficulty just a little bit. But, you know, they decided that's not, with these revamps, that's not really what they want to do. What they want to do is make the fights more fun and engaging, not necessarily one-up themselves each time they release one of these. And, you know, that makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. There's a few things in the fight. For example, when you don't break his break bar, which probably the scaling on that might be a little off or might need to be adjusted. When you have 90 players or whatever on the map, breaking that bar is never going to happen.
No.
But, you know, when you fail to do so, there's not really a harsh penalty for that. You don't suffer nearly enough. And I feel like
big AoE attack he does.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to suffer a little bit more when you fail to break his break bar.
And I think that was something we were talking about the other day as well, that there isn't a fail situation, isn't there? If you fail to kill the Shatterer, he just kind of like flies off. And we all need to die at the end.
Yes,
we all need to die.
I agree.
We do need an encounter wipe, I think. But I tend to agree that it might need to be a little bit trickier, and it seems like that the balance is kind of moving away from the health aspect of the boss, because what they did when they originally revamped a lot of the world bosses, they just went, oh, we'll give them 3 times the amount of health that they originally had or something.
Yeah.
And so like the frozen Moor Shaman just became like an AFK thing for an extra 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But having a situation where you actually have to do something other than reduce something's health, and they do exactly the same thing with the pulse crystals as well that he heals from, by having the break bar as the primary kind of attribute that you have to break there rather than the health. I think that's a really smart move. But
sure.
I think you could be right. I've not actually done it since I think I've only done it once or twice, but I've not had the I've never seen the break bar broken. I'll say that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, and I've been in a couple of like fairly well organized maps, and the break bar still hasn't been broken. I think that, and I could be wrong. I mean, we haven't had a ton of time with it just yet. I think there is definitely a lot of players who aren't bringing CC, or they're not bringing enough CC to the fight, where maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the scaling's not off. It feels like the scaling is just a touch too much. I've seen it get down. I've seen that break bar get down to like half, or like only a quarter left. So I've seen it close a couple of times, and I have had people tell me that they've seen it broken once or twice. But yeah, I think it might be just a touch. I could be wrong, but I think it might be a touch off.
The thing is, the trade-off is if the break bar does get broken, I believe he takes triple damage for 8 seconds.
Yeah, correct.
Which is pretty gnarly. And if you can beat him past a pulse crystal phase as well. Although, no, wait, that spawns anything under half health, doesn't it? But if you can beat him past just one of those phases, it's going to drastically reduce the time of the fight. And the chance that he's going to get his break bar back up.
Isn't that one of one of the achievements to down him before he goes into his air phase?
It's to down him without. Yeah, it's to down him with having his bar broken every time. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, what do you guys think of the achievements?
I think they're good.
They're good. I think that they require like way more kind of playthroughs of the event than I thought they were going to. I was kind of expecting maybe once or twice, but like there's one of the achievements is like defeat him like 10 times or something. And that's just one of them, and then there's like ones where you have to kill, I think you have to kill 500 branded, which is like a Slayer achievement basically.
Right.
And then there's a bunch of other stuff that's gonna easily require 10, 20 run-throughs of the event, which I don't know, the Tequatl ones didn't feel like you could basically run through and do them all in a couple of goes.
I think the difference was with the Tequatl one that they made you do it all within a week.
It was
Or
you had a 2-week window to
Was it
get all
2
those
weeks?
achievements for
Well,
the back piece, correct? Pretty sure.
Is it?
There's
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Like they have separate Tequatl achievements that everybody can get whenever, but they did have
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
for the
that
back
initial
piece,
launch.
yes,
Oh,
it
that
was the
was
meta
like
achievement
kind
for
of
that
like-
Living World update because it was part of a Living World update.
Mhm.
I think it's great for about the Shatter. I think it's great that you have to do it, 10 times, 20 times, because if you could do it in 2 attempts, then okay, people would do it to get their back piece, and then okay, that's content I'm done with.
Job done.
Whereas now you have to keep going back, and it's going to, it's not a grind. It's this epic world boss. I mean, enjoy it. I mean, I know I'm being a cheerleader, but I just think that it's it's great that you have to work for it. I don't want the game to hand us anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're getting there's so many steps to these achievements. I mean, the first time through, you're seeing the little achievement thing pop up, ding, 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 ding. Like you're getting all these achievements, all these. Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm getting achievements. You're not maxing them out on your first couple times through, but you're getting to the first. You're seeing what they are. You're seeing what you do, dropping med kits or killing branded or dropping bombs. So you're getting those achievements, and you. I feel when I do it, even if I'm not maxing out the titles, I've only done it once on the live client, and I feel like it's like I felt accomplished after just one time doing it. We beat it we were there the very first time it spawned, and we beat it. We downed it, and that was with people not really knowing what to do, and so it it's definitely not Tequatl. But I think it's rewarding.
So the very first time it spawned, I was with I was with ATT. They're very well known for doing those world bosses and speed kills on world bosses, etc. And they were really trying to do their best to maximize as much damage as possible. And when we killed it, which is certainly not the fastest time possible because we didn't break the break bar, that would have increased it a lot, but we had something like I'd have to go back and look at my tweet, but I want to say we had like 9 minutes or 10 minutes left on the clock or something like that.
That's pretty good, man.
Fight. So it went pretty quick, quick enough that we killed it, and I was able to get into another map and kill it again before like the timer was off. I think the achievements are pretty good. I kind of wish that the fight was I wish that there was like an extra reward for the fight itself. Now you do get you have a chance to get crystals, and if you get enough crystals, you can upgrade like the statues for scribing, which is that's pretty cool. There is of course the meta achievement, but I wish there was just a little something else, an armor set or a weapon set. And I realize it takes a lot of resources and that takes time to make. Maybe they could have like a universal armor set that looks the same on all, like medium, heavy, light, or something, or I don't know, something like that, just to entice people to want to go there and do it more.
Absolutely.
If they did that, I think then they'd have to increase the difficulty a tiny bit. And I'm not talking about like large amounts of difficulty rate. Like I don't want to, like, oh, let's just inflate it and make it super hard. I don't want that because, I think that people should be able to go and loosely organize and kill it. And right now, it's I have heard of a couple of maps failing, but generally speaking, you can make a lot of mistakes in the fight and not really fail it. It's pretty hard to.
Well,
if you're actively playing, you're probably going to succeed most of the time.
I think the thing that will cause people to fail is not destroying the healing crystals. I think that's pretty much it.
Not fast
Those
enough.
are critical.
Yeah, and like the rate at which he regenerates health is pretty intense. Actually.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say that. Like, it feels like he burns down really quickly, but he heals up quickly as well. So that's kind of he kind of stalls you out by getting those heals. I'm glad it's not too tough, because it means that the Shatter is still gonna sit in like the kind of world boss, farm train thing, and I think that's a good thing. It's only gonna get easier though. Like, Tequatl was really difficult, but like I can't remember the last time I've seen that fail. Just because people get used to it, they learn it, and a year down the line, it's just easy as hell.
I've seen a couple people say that, and you can do this with a couple of dodges here and there. You can really just kind of sit to his side and still DPS the heck out of him without too much trouble. A little bit of trouble here and there. You got to move around and dodge, heal up, whatever, but. You can definitely still kind of stand there, and I wish that was a little bit more punishing. It's way more punishing than it was, but I wish it was a little bit more. And the fight itself is really fun. There's a lot of mechanics, the turrets and the mortars, and now you have gliding with the bombing. The enemies, and I think a lot of players are going to miss this kind of, but all the branded enemies that they've added, which weren't really there previously, many of them have special animations. The Minotaur and the Griffins and stuff, and I don't really think people can really... I don't think they're really going to see it or maybe appreciate it quite as much when the boss dies kind of quickly. I feel like he has some really cool... And he's got that special roar that taunts you now and summons minions. And I think there's a lot of cool little mechanics going on there, but I think some of the appreciation for that kind of gets missed a tiny bit.
Yeah, there was something that I think we were just talking about the other day after it went live, that... I lost my train of thought. A lot of these new mobs have break bars as well, so you've got other little break bars to kind of take care of. But they only kind of really appear between the siege equipment and the Shatterer himself. One of the things that I think, if they were going to try and ramp up the difficulty rather than making any adjustments to the Shatterer himself, start dropping veteran mobs with break bars within the siege turret kind of area, because it
does happen.
It doesn't happen enough though.
Right. Okay.
I think because they climb up around that area, but
yeah, it's.
I wonder if that was done on purpose though, because it's right next to the waypoint, and I think maybe they don't want it to become contested or something like that, because if you die, it's just really easy. You just double click and then you're straight back into the fight kind of thing. And if that was to become contested, I don't know.
But a lot of the break mechanics and damage come from the turrets, and there doesn't, aside from like when people die, if there just happens to be a mob there, rather than having someone coming off the turrets and dealing with them, whoever the half dozen players are who've died in that particular dozen seconds, they've come back and they've just cleared that on their way out, and it doesn't really feel like that one of the key parts of the fight is really being harassed.
That's a good point.
Right.
Like, because I mean, like the Tequatl fight, it's really key that you have people defending the turrets.
You've got your defense turret teams, yeah.
And to see something like that there would be quite cool.
But then again, look, like we're saying, it's not meant to be end game content. You don't get level 80 stuff from it. Even though you although you do get your second rare. You get 2 rares.
It's actually, I think it's actually decent. If there's champions that spawn, champion mobs that spawn as part of the event, you kill them, you get a champ bag for each one.
Yeah.
And you can actually get like a crap load of champ bags for doing the event if you take down a lot of champion mobs that spawn. It can actually be really, really lucrative. It's good. But yeah, 2 rares. I mean, like Inks was saying, it'd be cool to have some kind of exclusive or super rare drop. Just to entice people a bit.
Why is there no Shatter Mini? I'm very disappointed that was left out. I mean, we've got the crystals to make Shatter guild hall decorations, and the back piece. Why no mini? We have a Tequatl mini. Why no Shatter
mini? Like aside from kind of like original Zaitan. Oh, I think the Shatter is the best looking dragon in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Very
it looks
cool.
so good.
Mordramoth is the best looking dragon. What are you talking about? I mean,
What you mean, Bowser?
no, I want that
be
spiral
fair-
thing following me around.
I was gonna say, to be fair, the mouth of Mordramoth is
Oh
pretty cool.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Super
it's it's a very like imperial, like Chinese looking dragon. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
From,
you
like,
could just
the,
recolor that that Chinese dragon mini.
You could again,
500
Inks
gems.
would buy it.
and have a third identical mini.
Oh.
Said the cynic.
That's true. The Shatter, it'll be in the gem store.
Yeah, like such a.
It better
cool-
not
cool-
be.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well,
It
let's
can't
be
be.
serious
That
for a
would-
second. It
yeah.
better.
No, seriously.
If you're gonna
That
add the
would
mini,
suck.
and I think you should add the mini because it would be really such a cool mini. It really would. The
Mhm.
Taquato mini is a really cool mini, just
Yeah.
the way he flies around and stuff. But you should just add him to his loot table. Don't
Yeah.
put him
Yeah,
on the jet
absolutely.
Yeah,
store.
definitely.
That'll be another 30-minute rant on GuildGab if that happens. Because
All right, let's move on to the Lunar New Year event.
Yeah.
I've lost money. I know that much.
oh my gosh,
really?
I've lost
You
a lot.
guys
of money.
are making me really scared because I've been buying the maximum that I can buy every single day, like which is the 16, and then getting them from the dailies, and then even spending my guild commendations in the guild hall on more lucky envelopes.
that.
So I'm
Jesus.
trying to get up as many as I can, and then at the end, then I'm gonna, of the
Do a
whole
big-
thing, I'm gonna boost my magic find as high as I can and open them all. And I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they're losing money and making me really, really scared.
Yeah.
That
Well,
by
I-
the end
I
of this, I'm
made-
gonna be 100 gold in the hole.
I think I've made like 8 gold or something like that. 9 gold. or
It's
something.
it's not a lot. I'm losing a day. I'm losing like 3 gold a day, I think. But
Mm.
it's
I'm down 65 gold, I think.
What?
Jeez.
Dude!
Oh man.
how.
Are you playing Dragon
Well,
Ball
I-
and getting the extra?
No, I haven't done that yet. Well, I have that waiting. I haven't spent it yet. But no, I mean I foolishly bought them. I bought envelopes for like 1 gold 30 silver, and I think I've seen 2 of the golden things in like 150 envelopes or something.
Ugh.
It's just a straight loss for me every single time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the backpacks. I got tired and I just bought them off the trading post. I was like,
Yeah,
forget
that's what I'm
this.
saying.
I am not. They will never drop for me. I'm just gonna buy
Oh,
them.
no.
Now my wife has made money. Matsta makes money every day that he does it. It's RNG, And what's really terrible is like, so my magic find is maxed out, and after I boost it, and you can boost it even higher than I've been boosting it. But when I opened my envelopes, I opened like 150 envelopes. I had 536% magic find.
Oh, wow.
It makes no difference whatsoever. It doesn't help.
It does.
Trust me.
Uh,
No backpacks in 150 envelopes. A loss of like 65 gold. Forget it. I'm done. So every day I buy my 16 and I sell them on the trading post and I make like 2 gold.
You're making me scared.
I have given up like opening them.
no.
Like, I do my dailies, right? And I save the lesser envelopes. So I've just been saving those up, hoping that like at the end I'll cash out on those maybe, but I have given up trying to get lucky to make money on the
no.
big envelopes. Still, I buy them every day. Don't get me wrong. But
gotta
I
get
trading-
them just in case. Just in
Right,
case.
I trading post them right away. I'm like, here's 16 trading posts. Enjoy. I hope you get luckier than I did. Yeah.
Oh. I do want the grander monkey back piece. Looks really good. I was surprised.
It does look.
It looks a lot better than last year's.
Last year's was
So
crap. Like apologies
I'm
apologies to whoever created it, but it was pretty rubbish.
I was kind of sad that you couldn't actually make that back piece in the Mystic Forge now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
the
if
old
you-
one you can.
Yeah.
Ram one.
And,
And
the new
I
one.
thought it was I thought it'd be quite cool to be able to like make it like exclusive to that year. So like
Yeah, I
you
agree.
could wear it and say like I was
But
there.
they are
for
on
that.
the trading post. But the
Yeah,
price, then
that's
the
good.
price would just skyrocket.
There's
in
a
5 years.
there's also a decoration. You could build a ram statue,
Oh yeah, the
because
decorations.
and you need the exotic ram back piece to make that. So I will say this too: the decorations
Oh,
way more reasonable this time. So thank you, ArenaNet, for reasonable
but what level
decorations.
scribe do you have to be?
Different
300,
levels.
I think.
One like I think some of them are like 325, but there's 125. There
Only
might be
325.
Only
there might
325.
there might be one that was like 75 or something. I'd have to go through and look again. I don't remember
There's
exactly.
a lot
but
though.
like those red lanterns are really cool, and that's just like your extra luck. It does cost you 88 copper plus whatever like the luck denomination is.
Yeah.
But I have lots of extra luck, so I finally have something I can like. I
Yeah.
can finally like have lots of lanterns at the very
Yay!
least.
Oh, and it
you
looks
know?
fantastic. Yeah, I don't know
Cool.
if that was you or who put all the
Nice.
lanterns. Masta put the lanterns and the gates in the guild hall, and it just looks so cool. When I started, somebody linked in chat all of the guild decorations, the tents and the gates and the lanterns. I was like, oh, these are so awesome. It's like I wish I had any level of scribing.
The one thing is in Divinity's Reach, when you first walk down the stairs, there's a very large gate. So you can make the small gate, which they put the little monkey statue in the center of that gate, which you can make that as well. We haven't made that yet, but there's a very large gate when you first walk in, and I kind of wish you could make the large gate as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just because it's so massive and just very cool looking. I don't know. But yeah, the decorations a lot more reasonable than they have been in the past, so that's good news. And yeah,
The standard festival decorations a lot more reasonable than standard decorations like basic
A chair. I was kind of disappointed that there's no new mini. There's no new like extra back piece, like gem store back piece. Like last year we got the mini backpack, the plush ram
What?
backpack.
no plush
There are-
monkey.
No plush
outfit or
monkey.
anything either this week.
No new
No
outfit.
new on it. Yeah.
There are some
balloon.
skins.
There's no
there are-
monkey balloon.
There are some skins that have come back to the post, including the Jade weapon skins, which are I love them.
They're like
Very
2
good.
tickets each, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so
The
2
Jade
tickets for a
and the
Jade
Crimson
weapon.
Lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
And they
guess.
brought back
Go ahead.
the dies, the Crimson Lion dies, which is as someone who's trying to like collect those dies and stuff, that's it lowers the price on the trading post, which makes them semi-obtainable for me. So
Yeah.
big plus.
My only guess is that because they brought back a lot of returning items from last year. Maybe next Tuesday, because this does run for 2 weeks. Maybe next Tuesday they'll introduce some new stuff, like a new outfit, maybe some monkey minis or
That's a good
back
point.
items.
Hope so.
Maybe they wanted to try to push the older stuff first, and then next week, oh, it's all new stuff. Here's all your monkey stuff. But that's just a guess. I don't know.
I mean, I think this is the first time that the Jade weapon skins have been obtainable outside of the trading post since the original event.
Well, you can still buy dragon coffers as of today.
They're like 15 silver now, though, aren't they, or something like that? So,
Yeah, and the drop
and, like,
rate used
is
to be, it probably
abysmal.
still is. You would get a ticket, or I would get a ticket, 1 in every 1,000 dragon coffers.
Yeah.
So
I spent like 400 gold before I got my first one. It was like, it was I wanted that sword skin so badly, and then I thought, oh, I could have just bought it on the trading post afterwards. But I think at the time it was about the same. But it'd be cool if they ever did something like that again. I think, like even like if it's a monkey coffer, and you have like some kind of themed weapon set that you can.
I was really hoping for like a mini monkey pet holding a banana maybe or something. I don't know. I like the mini pets, and I really did think we were going to get like a plush monkey back piece because we got the ram one last year. So
Yeah.
a little surprising, but
Very surprised.
you know the festival New Year, the Lunar New Year, geez, not like a huge event. It's like a little event. You get the envelopes. You can play Dragon Ball for those who like Dragon Ball. There's no meta achievement. So yeah, I don't know. It's a smaller event, but it's cool. They added some decorations and stuff, and it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's small, but it's fairly good. It's still a shame that you can't go into Dragon Ball with a party or with your friends. But I'm guessing it's kind of the same problem that we're carrying over from Winter's Day. You know, with teaming people up and those kind of things. So it's still kind of hot joy and a bit chaotic. But I really like Dragon Ball. It's so good. So, you know, I'll play it anyway.
Kind of a little bit off topic, but interesting. I think two things. Number one, I think that it would be really cool if Dragon Ball was just a free-for-all rather than two teams.
Rather than team-based.
And
That would be good.
you would have to adjust things, obviously, like getting your wins or whatever would be a little more difficult. Maybe they could say like top 3 or top 4, like best personal scores running around shooting each other or whatever, rather than have it be like this team event. Because what happens right now is Dragon Ball is a little more rewarding than it was last year, but still not really rewarding because you have to play 10. You have to win 10 games to really get a reward. Playing and winning one game or playing a game doesn't really get you a whole lot besides like the daily participation or whatever that is. So you have people who will join a game, and as soon as they're losing, they're just like, I'm out of here, and they leave.
Yeah.
And it ruins the experience for other players. And the only way to really fix that is to incentivize them to stay, number one, or give them some sort of like penalty. They can't play Dragon Ball for 15 minutes if you leave, which not a great
like a
solution.
dishonor system or something.
Yeah, which is not really a great solution. You really want to incentivize players to stay and play even if they're not winning, right?
Yeah, but I think, and I think actually playing in a team or like being able to, you know, form a party and going in, like I think that would actually maybe help that because, you know, you're going to be able to talk to each other, you're going to be able to communicate. It's going to feel more like, okay, we need to turn this around, we need to do this. I think, you know, a lot of people realize that they're 100 points behind or something and they just want to leave because they know that they're not going to be able to communicate with these people that they're in a team with, or maybe the team aren't playing very well or whatever, and so they just leave because they know they can't possibly do anything about it. But if you can go in with your friends, like it doesn't, I think it's going to be fun anyway, and it doesn't really matter, and you can easily turn it around, you know, just by communicating and stuff, like treating it a bit more seriously, I guess. And
they could
I think that would
drop
help
a second map in for a start. It's like the third or fourth time it's come back.
The map is pretty good, but yeah,
It's
should totally-
another map.
Yeah, it's time for a new map, I think.
Well, an idea that's been floating around, not just for Dragon Ball, but these activities in general, which ArenaNet is obviously moved away from activities and they're doing adventures now, similar but not the same, is that what if you added a special category for guild missions where as a guild you could queue up as a portal and everybody goes in and gets participation credit for playing Sanctum Sprint versus each other. Like the whole instance is just you and your guild, whoever queues up. So Sanctum Sprint and Keg Brawl and Survivor. Now obviously tweaks would need to be made to some of those game types, I think, in order for that to work, but that would be really cool. A guild mission every week where you're playing whatever random one pops up. And for Lunar New Year, it could be Dragon Ball.
Hire this man. I like it.
They should totally throw that Dragon Ball map. I quite like it, and it's got like the little like launch pad things in it. It's quite fun to play around in. I'd love to see them throw that into like unranked PvP as like a courtyard map or something.
They need to expand it a little bit. It's quite claustrophobic.
Yeah, but I think that'd be quite fun to play in. I think, you know, you've got like the upper ground stuff. You wouldn't have the buffs and the power ups or anything, but like you've got like the kind of tunnels and you've got like the kind of high up spot. Like I think that'd be pretty fun to play in PvP.
Yeah, I mean there'd be no like objective capturing with there or anything like that.
No, just like a courtyard. Like so it's just deathmatch. Like
deathmatch. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah,
interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Next, the Eldivan Monastery Brew of the Month Club. Not too terribly much to this. You basically find this NPC in Queensdale, the brewery, basically, the vineyard, and you talk to him and you buy, it's 10 gold, right? A 10 gold membership, and he sends you your first beer, and it's got its little flavor text, and it's part of a 12-item collection. And at the end of the 12 months, you get a back piece, a title, and guild decoration.
Yeah.
And it's not, anything too terribly fantastical, but the best part about it for me is the flavor text.
It's pretty cool.
All of the
fantastic.
brews are just brilliant.
Yeah, whoever wrote those or whatever group of people wrote those did a really good. They did really good, not just on the names of each of them, like a play on words on the names, but like the description of the beer itself is like, this is a citrus blend from like wherever. It's like
somebody knew their stuff.
Spot on. Yeah, spot on. And the backpack is really detailed. Like the backpack, I don't know who I would ever use it on, like maybe a Norn or something, but it's super detailed. So for those people who like those big exaggerated back pieces, then this is a pretty good one for that.
I've got a bit of an idea about a video series for it, but I'm keeping it under my hat.
Ooh, that teaser.
Top secret. Top secret.
But it's a cool little thing.
See, I've seen a lot of people kind of say things like, "Oh no, what's the point? Like, isn't this just like a waste of dev time, or like it doesn't,
it's a
it doesn't
collection.
really mean anything?" It's just but I actually think it's really cool. It adds like flavor to the world. It's like just a nice little touch of depth, and I don't know. I find this stuff like really, I really like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
it's more fashion for Fashion Wars 2 and achievement points.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
that's why we play, right? For the sweet chiefs.
Them sweet chiefs. Yeah. So that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. By far, I can't remember the name of it. Somebody in chat will know. The Ritlock Brimstone one. I laughed so hard. Ritlager Brim Ale or something. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
It was so brilliant. Snods to Cantha, Alona, Dragon Bash. Next month is apparently a Dragon Bash one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that a hint
And there's
something,
there's one about the Queen's Jubilee, and it kind of implies that it's the season for this, and it just implies that that's what's going to be happening, in August or whatever. So basically, next month could be Dragon Bash. If we trust the ale.
Put your trust. Rit Lager Brim Stout. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes.
That makes no sense. You can't have a beer cannot be a lager and a stout at the same time. They're two radically different kinds of beer. It's like having, I don't know, like a Stella and a Guinness and pouring them into one glass, which, as anyone will know, will just create some kind of foamy explosion everywhere. And
gets drunk though.
Oh, ArenaNet, really?
Britlock learned how to do it in the mists.
Who put this together? Because I can't. It was there's someone at ArenaNet, and it's and they're like a massive craft beer fan. I can't remember who it is.
There's quite a few of them that are.
Yeah, I want to say it's John Corpening, but
I think Grouch is a pretty big.
Yeah,
fan.
he is, isn't he?
Yeah. Like I said, there's several of them I think that are pretty big, like craft brew fans.
Doesn't Seattle have a pretty good kind of craft beer scene anyway? There's a lot of microbrewers right there.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, next, something that really shocked me, that I loved as much as I did. The new squad markers and the new squad UI. So not only did they add markers, we had 3 markers that you could put on the minimap, and that was the extent of the squad markers you could put down to help with whatever content it would help you with. I know for us personally, it helps us a lot with rating, to know where to go. So you'd say go to the shield or go to the triangle, and they were just kind of random little symbols, like they didn't mean anything. There was like an X and a shield looking thing and like this triangle arrow looking thing. Now they're all consistent. You have your shapes, they're all very bright and colorful, and not only do they have squad markers, not only do they appear on the minimap, they appear in the world with these shining, colorful beams of light. Like, you can't miss them.
Yeah.
And object or player markers. So you can not only put these markers in the world, but you can also mark a player. You could put a square or a triangle or a circle. There's 8 different symbols that you could put, and they're all different colors. You can put them above a person's head or an enemy's head or an NPC. So it's just so versatile. I was not expecting that much. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be to have that depth to it.
It's pretty cool. It's a nice quality of life thing and a really good strategic tool. I think if you combine that with the fact that you can now promote lieutenants,
right,
to have kind of secondary control of smaller groups and be in those deputizing positions, you know, you can say, all right, the lieutenant for Group 2, you use yellow symbols. Lieutenant for Squad 3, use blue symbols or whatever. Yeah, it's great little touch. Love it.
There was a funny bug. It's fixed now, so we don't have to worry about people trying to use this for ill gains. But there was a funny bug in PvP where they could squad up before they joined a match, and they could squad mark the enemy team so that they never lost track of them the entire fight, no matter where they went or what they were doing. You could see them on the map at all times and everything like that. So
I think it persisted through stealth and stuff as well.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Yeah. People were not really happy with that in PvP, obviously, but thankfully that was fixed last night. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know it helped us out a lot with raiding, and especially because they're, you know, you can see them in the world, and of course there's a heart, so I'm happy. And it's all like these pretty colors, so I just, you know, if you assign me a lieutenant in your squad, I'm telling you right now, I will put rave lights everywhere and just start partying.
But they're so pretty.
They're so pretty, and you put them all about 8 of them, 8 different colors, like a rainbow. Yeah.
We had a slight argument last night in raid over who got to be the heart. when we were trying to kill Sabbatha.
Surely the healer gets to be the heart.
That's what we did. We did the healer. The healer was the heart, which is not me, unfortunately, but it's okay. Oh my goodness. Has anybody played Stronghold yet? No, well, actually, I don't think you... Can you unlock Tybalt yet? You can unlock him, but then you have to... What is it? How does Tybalt work? 20
You
gold?
unlock the reward track for 15 gold,
15
then
gold.
complete the reward track. And then it unlocks another one where if you finish that, you get a mini. So
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through his track right now.
So you can actually get 2 Tybalt minis now, can't you?
Yeah.
Which is
Yes.
pretty. And also, while we're on Tybalt, the elite champion skins drop from the Black Lion chests for him, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, you can probably buy them on the trading post for however much at the moment, but yeah, they're yeah, and he throws
That's
apples.
All his skills are apple based.
Tybalt and his apples.
He has different outfits. He has a steampunk outfit. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right. I think the last thing we have to discuss is all the balance changes.
Yes.
The only thing that I know that's happened is Revenant auto attack on sword, and warriors haven't really been touched. And thief auto attack sort of works now. That is, I think that is what I've taken away from the balance patch. I'm probably completely wrong. I read it a while ago, and yeah.
The only thing I took away was that, except for Test of Faith trap, Guardians actually got buffs. So, or Guardian and Dragon Hunter got buffed, except for that one trap. So I'm happy.
Well, Necro just got straight buffs. Just straight buffs, and it's so good. I think there's only 1 or 2 weapons now that don't corrupt boons or something now. Like your Dagger 3 Immobilize, that converts 2 boons into conditions. Yeah, they just rammed on Scepter auto attack after the chain. It removes or converts a condition as well. Like, there's just so much condition play. It's really good. I've had so much fun in PvP recently playing condition stuff, and now it's just like I can do anything, and I'm gonna tear that stuff off them. It's so good. It just, I don't know, it's so much more fun to play that than just like a power necro or something. You know, you're having to think about conditions and, oh, should I wait until I have more before I transfer them, or, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's just super fun. And yeah, I was really happy to see that just necro just got buffs, because it's the best class.
Appleseed says Guardians are still terrible in PvP. It's like, what game have you been playing since Heart of Thorns came out, man? It's like,
Guardians are okay. You know, it's really a matter of
take the Dragon Hunter traps and you win. That is how you Guardian in PvP at the moment.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I basically, you stand far away from them and wait till they're dead. You know, use Rise or something, like summon a shambling horror right next to them, activate all their traps, and then go in and kill them.
You know, it's funny, like, for PvP and Guardian Dragon Hunters, excuse me, it really depends on what level of PvP you play at. If you play in the lower tiers, they're extremely powerful because players are easily baited and trapped into their traps. At the higher tiers and the higher levels, you have things like ranger pets who will activate the traps. You have, like Corvus says, they'll just stay at ranged and never close the gap with them, and you know, whittle them away and tick them down. So it depends what level you play at and how annoying or powerful they are, you know, in that regard. I really was expecting more changes to classes and things with this. I felt like it was a bit light. And when they did this preview on one of the Fridays on like what was coming to the game, like that was like 80%. I'm making numbers up here. That was like 80% of like the changes that were actually coming. Mm. And you know, there was a lot of people who were saying, "Don't worry, there's a lot of other changes you haven't even seen." And the truth was, that's not really true. There were some changes that you didn't know about or that you didn't see, but those were most of the changes. Helseth put out a really good post on the changes to Mesmers and their state and kind of where that went wrong. Nerfed a little too hard. And don't get me wrong, it needed some changes and it needed some nerfs, but a little bit too hard of a nerf. And then there are other skills, or there are particular skills that needed a little bit of buff, and those didn't get buffs from Mesmers. Berserker for PvE did get nerfed quite considerably for a couple of reasons. Its Primal Burst doesn't double proc anymore. And, of course, the nerf to Alacrity then, of course, nerfs that build as well. That being said, the condition damage that it still does isn't as terrible as some people, I think, are making it out to be. It is considerably less.
A bit, doesn't it?
It is considerably less. Engineers and Necros are doing more Condi than they are, but it's not like... I don't think it's a total wash on that. Revenants, with the exception of Sword 2, is just all nerfs. They really didn't look at Vantari or Jalis or Malix. Yeah. They really didn't look at anything other than Sword. With the exception of like Hammer, which, by the way, Coalescence of Ruin is totally broken right now. Unintentionally, but that needs to get fixed. The way that works is the skill tooltip reads that Coalescence only ticks every 0.5 seconds, I think. And the problem is that that's for every Revenant in the area. So if you're in World vs. World and 2 or more Revenants use Coalescence Ruin at the same time on a group of enemies, it only hits once for all of them. So rather than hitting once for every Revenant that's using it, it literally only hits once for like five Revenants use the Hammer 2 at the same time. It only hits once. It doesn't hit for any of the others. So that's a bug. Obviously, it's not intentional.
What about Alacrity? That's taken a pretty tough hit, hasn't it?
Yep. Probably slightly too... It did need a nerf, I feel like, but it was kind of a little too heavy of a nerf.
Yeah.
And then there are other skills, for example, that I think some Mesmers were hoping that some of the other skills were going to get a slight buff on the duration, because those skills are now kind of totally useless. Like, they last for like a second or something, and with the nerf to Alacrity, it's just like... Totally wasted.
Continuum split's been nerfed as well, hasn't it? It's got its the split time's been reduced to is it down from 3 to 1.5 seconds or something? Or am I thinking of a previous patch?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I certainly know Continuum Split either got nerfed in the past or it's been nerfed with the balance patch. But yeah, that's taken quite a heavy hit as well. I think that's a real shame because
there was a bug with it a while, like not too long ago.
There was, but that might be what I'm thinking of. They fixed in the past. They managed to fix that, but yeah, it's a real shame because like Alacrity and Continuum Split to me, like they're like these two awesome abilities, especially like kind of designed for Chronomans. And yes, they're very, very powerful, but it's not the first time that Mesmers have been on the very, very sad end of the nerf hammer. Because if you remember back to when first Shatter builds got smashed, and then the Phantasm builds got smashed, and then Condi builds got smashed, all way back when the game first started, which might say a bit more about how things were being balanced back then. But they just continually get punished, Mesmers.
Yeah, I feel like these changes from Mesmer just feel a bit kind of rushed, kind of just like an easy, quick fix instead of and it's kind of too punishing at the moment.
Yeah, I just hope that I mean, they'll make tiny little tweaks and changes, but really, we're not going to see a big, large overhaul now to April. So, we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. Daredevil is in a much better place than it was.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way more viable. The damage on it is very good, very strong. I know Age was hitting like a truck on Sabbatha last night, so yeah.
It's a good question because we both raided last night, and someone even in chat asked, how did the classes all hold up in the raid last night? We did have a Chronomancer, and he was saying that he did, he could feel the Alacrity nerf, but we one-shotted Veil Guardian, and we took 3 attempts on Gorseval. So, I mean, our Herald said he felt a little bit more squishy, but other than that, we weren't feeling it much at all. And that goes with what we said with it's not like a lot of the changes weren't gigantic changes. There were some classes who got hit pretty hard, but I hardly felt any changes on Dragon Hunter, and even the classes, like I said, we had Herald and we had a Chronomancer, and they said they felt it a little bit, but it wasn't like game changing. Like, we were scared that we were going to have to completely rework and rethink our strategy for raiding, and we really didn't at all. No. We didn't have any trouble.
As a Herald, I definitely can see and feel the damage nerf to Sword.
Yeah.
However, Sword 2 is, especially single target Sword 2, is way stronger. So that makes up for a considerable part of it, I think. Like Peachy, we didn't. I don't think we one-shot them. I think each boss took us 2 or 3 attempts, but we didn't have any problems, any more than we normally would, killing the bosses or getting through them. So there's that. There definitely was there is a noticeable DPS difference, I think, but it's not so bad that it's like, oh, I can't kill the boss now. It wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think about the Ranger changes, Inks?
I haven't really. I really only play Condi Druid anymore, so I haven't really, I know like what was the shouts, right? That got changed or buffed?
Yeah, the shouts got changed, and something Predator's Onslaught got a bit of a buff as well, which is pretty nice. So it seems like for all the complaining about that people don't really like pets, people who can't use pets properly don't like pets. What?
Shots fired.
What? It's not hard to be a good ranger. I've said this time and time again.
That's very true.
Wow. Okay, Mr. Necro.
Okay. I'm just gonna run with all my minions, and I'm gonna send them to all the
I don't. Nah, come on. Don't be
I'm a
mean.
minion
I don't
master.
use minions, dude. What do you think I am?
Condi Ranger got a little stronger, so that's a plus because I've really been enjoying playing Condi
Yeah, me
Druid
too.
since HOTS launch. I think it's funny that that's the build that I've been running since forever, since Heart of Thorns launched, and I've seen a lot more groups and stuff come around to using Condi Druids over like regular Druid or whatever. So it's interesting to see that change, depending on how much healing your group really needs from you, you know. But it's fun to play. It got a little bit stronger with the build, so that's a plus.
Yeah, shouts and yeah, and weirdly as well. I'm just looking at this now. Honed axes, the frosty bonus got an extra 100 on there to take dual axes, which could be interesting if you do like a might generating build. Maybe? No, fine.
It's Axe Torch.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure some ranger out there is like, Inks is crazy. Axe is amazing. What is he talking about?
It's like Axe is all right, but it's not like a set.
Sword Axe is better.
Yeah, Sword Axe is better for like a power build. That's what I take. But it's interesting enough. Interesting. I did notice the other day. If you start a ranger now, at level 1, you do get a bow instead of an axe starting weapon. So there's that.
Ink's rocking the Ranger shirt right there.
My ranger shirt.
Ranger life.
Burn it.
Hey,
What's kind of
like
sad is
Ranger.
I don't play my ranger in raids at all. I play my herald, but I still like him. I still love my ranger.
Yeah, Ranger's the best. Ranger's the best.
All right, I think we are going to wrap up the live show there, but we will
Yeah.
continue all of the discussion in the post show. Thank you guys so much for watching live in color here.
In color.
Woo!
Full color.
Full color. And we go live every single Thursday at 1 p.m. And next week will be our 2-year anniversary. You are not going to want to miss that show. So be here at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching on YouTube, scroll down below into the description and check out all of our channels. Lots of new Guild Wars 2 content on there. Even Corvus has got some new videos on
Even
there.
he does it. Even Corvus has done a video.
That's right.
I've got weekly videos planned for the next few months, so.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
Beautiful.
Is that a week will have a video in it, and it'll be 1 week.
It'd be like
few
5
months.
seconds long. And just
Hey guys, I'm still here.
See you next time.
We'll see you next week, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Watching, guys.